Welcome to the number one Bengals podcast. This is the
Number
new
one.
show on the Believe Podcast Network.
Yeah.
We are taking our YouTube show to Believe, as everybody
We're
knows.
moving on up, as they say that, yo.
We are moving
We're
on up. We're
moving
already
on
number
up.
one.
Yeah.
We have already been crowned number one, but we'll see
Yeah,
how
by
far up.
ourselves. Yeah.
So, okay, so much Bengals news, really, in this past week. I mean, we had padded practice for the first time.
We had news and blues.
Yeah, we had some blues, and we'll get to that in the next episode, which we'll do right after this. But first of all, I want to talk about the very positive stuff. So, Joe Burrow, he was our rookie quarterback, our first round pick, if you haven't heard. And we have been observing him be as much of a learner, as much of a guy willing to improve as possible. I mean, it is incredible. So we look at his Tuesday practice, right? And it was fine. It was okay. You know, he threw touchdowns to Tyler Boyd and to Mike Thomas, but he also had an interception to Carlos Dunlap.
Yeah.
And the most positive takeaway might be his developing chemistry with Tyler Boyd, which, by the way, I'm not surprised by at all. No, because Tyler Boyd is a smart football player.
Well, now we're getting to the heart of things, Daddy. Now you're getting to the main topic, which we need to talk about when it comes to Joe Burrow, which Joe Burrow is an intuitive player.
Yeah.
And Tyler Boyd is an intuitive receiver.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And if you look at some of the footage from when it was back in the Dalton to Boyd days, there's one really interesting pass I was looking at today where Andy, his pass gets kind of bobbled. It gets bobbled by a defender. And you'll notice Boyd adjusts really intuitively. And he's able to catch that pass. And that's Boyd. And that's what Joe Burrow is looking for. He's looking for someone who can change it up.
Yeah, someone who's on the same page with him, someone who gets the nuances.
He wants to be able to read the body language. He wants to be able to
exactly.
He wants someone who can read him. It's much more, he's much more of a water sign kind of quarterback than Andy Dalton was. That's going to get used to, John.
We don't really have to talk about Dalton anymore on the show. Go ahead, John. Yeah.
Oh, you're going to me now?
I'm sorry?
You're going to me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of buzzy with the mic. Something's wrong with the mic.
Something's wrong with my mic?
Yeah.
It's interesting. Let's just go through it because this is kind of how we do things around here. Because that's what Joe Burrow does, right? If something isn't perfect with him, he tries to make something new, tries to make something out of nothing. And I think that's what he's doing right now in practice right now. The offensive line is still kind of getting to know each other. And that's kind of how the nature of the early parts of training camp. It's just the defensive line that has the upper hand, and it's getting in Burrow's face every now and then, and he's just trying to make the most of it. And with three of his top receivers out for various reasons right now, he's making the most of having Auden Tate and Mike Thomas in the starting lineup right now. And I think he's developing a great rapport with those guys and connecting on a lot of big plays. And on Tuesday, that first padded practice, the playbook was still pretty much limited. It was a lot of short passes, a lot of still developing the rhythm and timing with everything. That's kind of why the defense had the upper hand towards the end of the practice, albeit also because there was a massive rainfall in downtown Cincinnati at that moment as well. But, it was nice to see Burrow take those mistakes from Tuesday, put it into words after the practice at his press conference, and really try to just absorb as much of the mistakes that he makes so he doesn't make them again.
Exactly.
John,
exactly.
So Dave Lennox is saying that maybe it's too loud and gains might be too high. Sorry, I know we're trying to do the sound adjustment, but yeah, it's kind
of. Can you go behind the scenes here, because my mic was fine before this, and then our producer, tried to tell me to do stuff.
Yeah, we have
so maybe turn it down.
So the very controlling producer on this show, and he kind of tells us what to do all the time. And he's a perfectionist, and he's kind of hard guy to work with. But
he's also a sweetheart. He's also a sweetie.
But he's also a sweetheart, yeah.
So look, guys, I want to move on to Thursday, okay? And on Thursday, Joe Burrow...
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Did we mention that it was Carlos Dunlap who got that interception?
That's right.
He did the
interception. Yeah. And by the way, he was in 2-point stance, John. What does that mean? I mean, is he going to play some linebacker?
That is when they start on their tippy toes. 2 points. One tippy toe, two tippy toes.
So really, it's like a 4-point stance because you're on 2 toes on each foot. So it's a 4-point stance almost. He's an edge defender in a scheme that has basically 3 down linemen. So naturally, those guys in those schemes that they don't always have a hand in the dirt. They could be dropping back into coverage, and that's kind of just it's natural for guys rushing off the edge in these schemes to not have their hand in the dirt because it doesn't give away their intentions towards the offensive tackle. Like, this is not anything new. Like, he was doing this last year when they were in the scheme, and so was Carl Lawson as well. So I think Willie Anderson said that Dunlap doesn't prefer to do that, but he's just adjusting because that's what he did last year. And I think they're going to try to keep the same scheme going, but he's still effective when doing it. So it's whatever.
Dr. Shear and I have a question for you. So now, is it normal for people to make such a big deal about an interception in practice, or is this the normal conflating and overdoing of the Burrow news?
I think the answer to that.
Isn't it pretty normal to get picked off in practice when you're trying new things?
And it is, but John, because John looks angry, I'll answer on behalf of John.
No, I want an angry answer. Come on, angry man.
The answer is Joe Burrow sucks. He's a bust. He threw 2 interceptions in Tuesday's practice. He's never going to get better.
Oh no, that's not what I was expecting to hear. But I think there was a bit.
Or the pass was tipped and landed in Dunlap's hands, and then Burrow went on and moved on.
Yeah. So look, guys. Look. Okay.
I mean, I'm saying it's normal in practice to have an interception, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. But here's what I want to talk about.
Wait a minute. I want John to say.
Yeah, like what is your agenda here? Like, the interceptions don't happen in practice?
Exactly, they happen, right? It's normal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's normal.
Yeah, sure. I think he's quoted for saying he's trying to see what he can get away with and what he can't get away with right now.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So he was talking about feeling out the whole red zone, adjusting to the red zone in the NFL,
so
and how different it is.
It's not really new. Really.
No, it is different because of the speed of the defensive players. I mean, and so he's saying, there's a quote about him saying how he's excited. He's not fazed by anything. He's excited about learning all the differences in trying to complete touchdowns in the NFL. And he is taking all these experiences. Like we said, he's trying out different things. He's taking the experiences and he's immediately adjusting. And as a result, he looked better on today. So on Thursday, he was 15 of 19 on 11-11 drills. And he had some deep completions to Tyler Boyd at the touchdown. He had deep to Mike Thomas and to CJ Uzomah on the sideline. And
what does that mean on the sideline?
Like, the sideline, he completed a pass on the side of the football field. Like
where you got to get the 2 feet in, like that kind of thing? Is that what you mean?
Exactly.
Oh, the good ones. I love those. I love when you're watching a game and someone just catches it and they drag their tippy toes in. That's the kind of passes that make Hoji happy.
Yeah, exactly. And this is going to segue for the next part. But so Burrow was picked off by Josh Bynes.
Right.
And, but he bounced back with some good completions. But he walked up to Bynes as they're leaving practice. And he said, hey, tell me what happened there. How did you do that? How did you steal the ball? What did I do wrong? And Bynes said that's the first time he's had, rookie come up to you and ask you something like that. And he said,
well, no. Let me say, actually,
hold on. He said about Burrow.
Wait, no. Actually, what Bynes said, and I quote, is that he's got that dog in him. Now, I don't know
that's
if
what I was going to say.
Said. He didn't mean anything literal by that.
Well, he doesn't.
He meant that Burrow's spirit animal is a dog, and that's not a bad thing. He's saying that he's loyal, and he can he'll do things right, like a dog will do things. He'll fight like a dog. He's talking about spirit animals, Daddy.
Yeah, but as John said, he also said he's trying to figure out what he can and cannot get away with, and so these interceptions. First of all, even if you have Tom Brady throwing interceptions in practice, it means nothing. To answer your question. And second of all, if you have rookies, it means even less because they're still adjusting to the game. And third of all, in Burrow's case, he's using it all to kind of see what he can do. He said that, and he's learning so quickly that his interceptions are actually positives because he's learning from them so much.
He's taking risks.
So that is all we have for this segment. We're going to be right back with the second part of our show.
Yeah.
So stay around, SVT. Bye.
Yeah.